Appeals for calm in Milwaukee after a night of looting and fires. Protesters burning several buildings and also throwing rocks at police. One officer was injured. The governor activating the National Guard. All of this following the fatal shooting of an armed man by police. Community leader Khalif Rainey expressed his frustration at a news conference. Listen.
Something has to be done here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin to address these issues. The black people of Milwaukee are tired. They're tired of living under this oppression.
CNN national correspondent Ryan Young is live for us now in Milwaukee. So, Ryan, what is the situation now? And take us back to how all of this unfolded.
Well, first things first, I can tell you people are sort of tense right now because they're not sure what's going to happen later on tonight. And we have to show you the scene here because if you look at it, it looks like you're almost in a different place. I mean, look at the burned out cars that are left behind. That used to be a Honda Accord. You can barely tell what that car used to be. But as we push our camera the other direction, that was a BP gas station. You can see it has basically crumbled upon itself because of the intense flames. A lot of people say it's lucky that the gas tanks didn't catch on fire. And just over to the side there, you can see the two officers that remained in this area. There's still hundreds of people who are out here. Look, let us show you this video just from last night. What we do know is an officer pulled over a car, tried to tell two people that they needed to stop. One man had a gun, according to the officer. When he told him to put that gun down, he opened fire, shooting that man in the chest and also in the arm. And that sent this place going crazy because so many people had rumors about what happened. But what everyone was talking about was the idea that this officer also had a body camera. So people are waiting to see what happens next. But this community is still on edge.
Our responsibility is to make sure the proper resources are in place to conduct a thorough and independent investigation, because obviously this is going to result in additional investigations and prosecutions, and again making sure that we have sufficient resources to address any additional arrests that come in throughout the evening.
So a bit of mixed bag from the community because we've talked to several people who are upset that buildings were burned down. They said the idea that this young man may have had a weapon and pointed it toward the officer may make this a justified shooting. So there's still a lot of questions here, but people want proof. They want to see that body cam video, but we had to show you this scene. Look at the community gathering. There are several pockets just like this one where more than a dozen people are gathering to have a conversation about what's going on. People believe that tonight will be another night of protest. They're hoping for not another night of unrest. And as you can see the damage that's been left behind, this community obviously has a lot of questions that they're still going to have to answer.
And then the gathering of people there, is that a meeting that is the same or different from a meeting where church and community leaders are planning to get together?
Yeah, that's one of the things that we talked about. Churches and community members apparently are going to come together and have a conversation about what can happen next. But talking to the people who are community leaders here, they said last night was really run by young people who weren't a part of the movement. So the idea, you just had pure anger, and they were upset about how they felt like they've been treated by officers for years. That sort of just exploded on the sidewalks here.
All right, Ryan Young, thank you so much from Milwaukee. We'll check back with you. Appreciate it. Meantime, police are investigating a string of violent attacks on officers in New York and Georgia this weekend. We begin in central Georgia, where police are searching for the person who shot and killed Officer Tim Smith. Smith was responding to a call of a suspicious person when he was shot after coming upon the subject and then getting out of his car. And then an officer in a separate incident in Marietta, Georgia, just outside of Atlanta. Well, that officer was shot and is expected to survive. He and two other officers were responding to a car break-in when one of the two suspects opened fire. Officers wounded one suspect who is expected to survive. And then in Long Island, New York, an officer is recovering from surgery after being stabbed in the face while responding to a 911 call. Police say the suspect, Mark Curraway, was armed with knives when he slashed the officer. Another officer shot the suspect, who is in critical condition. All right, straight ahead.